Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Demand we involve the police? No problem. Getting lunch several years ago with some colleagues. We had finished and I was backing out of my parking spot into the road with the other two gentlemen I was with in the car. We are all professionals, all in suits, all clean-cut adults. Clearly not folks trying to pull anything. We are leaving lunch. As I back out, I feel a thud. A young college student had backed into the side of my vehicle. I say side to establish an important fact. I was already in the middle of the road. The college student was backing out of a spot across the street when they struck me. I was already on the road and the collision was their fault. I get out and it's a no big deal to me. I tell them I'm fine swapping insurance and I'll file and get it taken care of. The college student has already called their parents though, and apparently when explaining things to dad, they told a few half-truths to insinuate that it was actually my fault. The dad on the phone insisted on calling the police to get a report and tried to keep me from skating. Fine by me. Cue malicious compliance. Call the cops and they eventually arrived. Before I moved my vehicle, I took photos of the scene from every angle and did a video walk around. The cop opens his door parked across the street and the college student beelines it for him, talking 90 miles a minute, complete with wild hand movements trying to model what had happened as they walked. I do not hear what college student says, but I do hear the cop. At this point, beside the damage to my vehicle say, "Yeah, what you're saying clearly did not happen here, kiddo." The cop got all the insurance information exchanged, talked to me and my two colleagues, who presented constant stories that matched the clear dent in my vehicle. Then went over with a ticket pad to the college kid. He hollered for me to go on about my day from across the street, all while the kid was trying to talk out of a ticket. Their insurance paid to fix everything, and I was just trying to save them the ticket. Oh well. Next story. Not gonna leave unless the cops are called? Haha, okay. I work at a crummy motel in Anchorage, Alaska. The don't ask, don't tell kind if you catch my meaning. We usually only have a 45-55% fill up at any given time of year, and that's with 20 out-of-order rooms. However, our city is hosting a very important native conference this year, and so we got extremely busy. Also, that early August is this year's pinnacle of our tourist season, since the forest fires were plucking out the state back in late June, early mid-July. Anyway, we had full house for the first time I can remember since I started working here, and it was a good feeling. The second to last guy I checked in, we will call him Earl Crazy Cakes, or Earl for short, just flew in from North Dakota and was looking to make Alaska his new home. Great, I thought. Now, to be fair, when I first met him, no warning signs went off that this guy might be a cook. He said he was an ex-Marine and had a service dog with him named Max. Being a Navy vet, he was kinda happy to meet another vet. I don't get out much. We exchanged stories as I got him checked in for a week. He gets his keys and goes to his room. About 45 minutes later, one of my co-workers, let's call him Chrissy, who also lives at the hotel, is complaining about noises coming from the guy I just rented to. And this is when his craziness starts to shine. I went to talk to her and share a cigarette when Earl came down to take Max out to do his business. He introduces himself to Chrissy and starts going on about conspiracy theories. That his dog apparently has a full name, like Maximus, Duke of Hamburg or something like that. and other crabs that told us how crazy he was. Chrissy and I just did the smile and wave routine and pretended like we were interested until he finally went back to his room. I thought that was the end of it, but of course I was wrong. The following morning, my other co-worker Kent was working the morning shift when Earl decided to come to him to start crap. Keep in mind that Kent is a retired army veteran, is 64 years old and has a very short temper. He's fine to work with till you piss him off. Anyway, Earl says he wants his money back, all of it, but wouldn't say why. He said he needed to keep tabs on his money. You have a receipt, idiot. That's a money tracker. For 5 minutes they yelled at each other, and I'm not making this up. Grabbed a small trash can in the lobby, took it out behind our broken down company van, and took a dump in it. And took the bag of poop with him. Weak dude. Now any normal manager would have booted him out there and then. But Kent, for whatever reason, gave him till noon to leave. Our normal checkout time. Apparently Earl went to Walmart and got in trouble there as the police brought him back here. Kent told the officer he was leaving today, to which the cop said if he refuses to leave, call us. And sure as heck that's what happened. When noon came around, Earl was told to leave and his exact words were, "The only way I'm leaving is if the cops show up." Roger that. Crazy. Stand the heck by, Kent called the cops, and they showed up in about 20 minutes. Rather fast for this area's reputation. I personally did not see him get arrested, but I heard he was fighting the cops all the way to the back of the cop car, screaming about the owner harassing him. The owner is 5'5" old Korean guy, and how the manager is a racist. Haven't heard from him since and hopefully he doesn't come back here. By far the craziest dude I have seen around here in the 6 years I've lived in Anchorage. Makes me wonder if he really is a Marine vet or not, or if his service dog was really a service dog. After all that transpired, I have serious doubts that anything he said was true. Next story. Accidentally burned down my neighbor's fence and she tries to milk me for $10,000. Judge humbles them real quick. This sub has gotten me through a lot of boredom and has provided me with hours of entertainment. So I figure it's my turn to tell my revenge story. So it's been about 4 years since this happened. I was about 18 at the time, working for a security company. There were constant call-offs and no-shows. I have no idea why, but being so young and naive, I was constantly working 16-hour shifts and not coming home until 8 a.m. Also, I lived with my father at the time. The time frame of this was around the 4th of July. I finally had a time off and my best friend was back in town for vacation. We decided to get together and chip in some old American fireworks. To be fair, I have had nothing but bad experiences with fireworks, so I had no idea how this would be any different. We got home with the fireworks and we laid them all out on the floor. Sparklers, bottle rockets, cakes, and Roman candles. I say, why don't we mess around with some sparkles since it's still not dark yet? Great idea. We go into my backyard where it hasn't rained in well over 2 months and it is extremely dry. You see the problem here? One of the little sparkies from mine and my friend's sparkler made contact with the ground and made 2 small fires that quickly spread to a large area. I ran as fast as I could to grab the garden hose and quickly started spraying down the fire. It was no use. It was spreading faster than I could spray it. I handed my friend the hose and called 911. What felt like hours was only 4 minutes and the fire was spreading to the neighbor's fence. The neighbor came outside and they were fairly calm to grab their hose and spray down the fence, along with the dead grass in their yard. The fire department shows up finally and I tell my friend only one of us needs to get in trouble and that he should leave. He was reluctant to leave because he felt equally responsible, but I convinced him. I did not want him to get in trouble and have to drop out of college. My neighbor was super chill about the entire situation at first. I told her that we could talk about replacing the fence and get some quotes to repair it. She was just super grateful that everyone was okay. About 2 hours after the fire, the arson/fire investigator came to question me about the fire, and I told him the truth. I said I was in the backyard by myself playing with fireworks and accidentally lit the ground on fire. I had gotten off that day without being hit by any charges and was commended for being honest. Here is where it goes downhill very fast. About a week later, I got a knock on the door from the neighbor. I opened the door and she handed me 2 pieces of paper for me to look at. There was a quote for the fence valued at around $4,000 and an estimate for lawn care valued around $6,000. These were really shady and just typed out on a Microsoft Word document. No logo or company name. She then adds, "I will also be having you pay my water bill for 3 months because the new yard will need lots of water." Now the fence this woman had before was raggedy and falling apart. Her yard, dead grass, weeds everywhere, never mowed it. And now looking at this paper, she wants a mahogany fence, a brand new backyard with flowers and trimmed hedges. I said I need to get an estimate myself. This doesn't feel right. She says, "Remember, you agreed to replace my fence, and a real man keeps promises." I shut the door and called my dad to tell him about what just happened, and he flipped the heck out and told me, "Son, don't you give that slut a single dime." He gives me the number to his handyman and tells me to take care of it. The next day I had the guy come out for an estimate, and the neighbor ran outside flailing her arms.
"I did not give you permission to get an estimate on my fence."
Technically, it separates the property lines, so it's both our fences. She calls the cops on me for having a contractor, and they ultimately cannot do a single thing because I'm on my property. He quickly finishes the estimate off at $1,200. I also knew a guy who did lawn care from my time working at the grocery store. He estimated the laundry seeding while she was away from the house to be around $800. After I get these estimates, I give copies to the woman, and she is having none of it.
"I don't know these people. I don't want them near my house. They are probably really bad contractors."
I said no, I know them personally. They are really nice people and do great job. She shut the door in my face and I went on my way. I ended up working a 16-hour shift that night and got home at 8 a.m. And this woman came knocking on my door at 9 a.m. and demanded I speak to her. I explained I really would love to do this, but I just got home and I have to be back at work in less than 5 hours. I need to sleep. She goes,
"What kind of lazy jerk sleeps in until 2 p.m.?
At this point I had lost it and told her you can either accept my $2,000 for my quotes or kiss it goodbye and get nothing. She stood there for a while with her mouth gaped open, but she accepted my offer and planned to meet down at the notary the next morning. I spent that night after I got off work writing a contract and gathering the $2,000 in cash. The next morning I wake up and grab this contract to meet down at the notary. I was thrilled to finally be done with this broad and never speak to her again. I waited for her for over 3 hours and she did not show up. I get a call from her saying, "I'm sorry, the $2,000 isn't enough. I'm having my guy start on this project and you will be paying me full price." Oh really? After that I did not say a single word to her, and I watched her for a few months as these guys turned her backyard into an oasis, complete with a small pond, brand new sod and flowers. The whole 9 yards. Come to find out she had plans to remodel these things for a long time. I was just waiting for the opportunity to go through with it. Also in this time she used the remodel funds to go on a trip to Hawaii. You know how I found out about this? She was bragging about it on the neighborhood Facebook group and didn't know I was in it. I have a different Facebook name than my real name. Now, are you ready for the revenge? Now 4 months after the fire and the remodels, I get served papers to go to court for $10,000 300. At 18 years old, I'm having to hire a lawyer. At 18 years old, I'm having to hire a lawyer to work my case. When we finally do get into court, I lay everything out. A quote, being harassed multiple times, not showing up after agreeing to a deal, not wanting me to get my own quotes, required by law by the way, and her bragging about screwing me out of money. And I have proof of all of this. The judge looked at her and said, "Ma'am, with all due respect, you're out of your damn mind." Not only did this young man tell the truth of what happened, he offered to pay you more than he was supposed to. Your lawn was already dead before the fire occurred, therefore he is only responsible for the fence of the $1,200. I will also deduct from this his lawyer fees, $800. So I burned this woman's fence down, and all I'm having to give her is $400? Cool. She took a huge financial loss from this. Not sure how much the Hawaii trip cost her, but she was in serious debt. She ended up having to sell the house because of it and moved into a smaller house. Haven't heard anything from her since. I also wanted to clear a few things up. I am not saying this, I do not feel bad for burning down my neighbor's fence. I felt really bad about it and wished we could have handled it more civilly. I would have been happy to meet in the middle or get multiple quotes. To this day, I still do not use fireworks, because we could have really hurt someone. What I have learned through this though, is it's best to take responsibility for your actions from the gate. The fire investigator had seen the leftover fireworks near the area of the fire and said he would have slapped cuffs on me and I will be in jail for arson if I would have given him any other answer. I was not criminally charged, and the incident was deemed an accidental fire. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.